Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're going to be using the Divi Image Hover plugin to create some fantastic effects. Now, the Image to Text on Hover plugin, they've got a special on at the moment. It's reduced from $50 to about $15. You can find the link below this video, and it's really easy to do, and they create some fantastic effects here. And not only do you get image to hover, some fantastic effects, they also do image swap, so you can swap one image for another there, which is a great little effect to have on your site. So let's get started. So I've created a couple of little boxes here using the classic hover effect. One thing you want to bear in mind is the size of your image and the amount of content you want to put in it. Obviously, if you've got a little bit of writing, you can make smaller boxes like this. If you've got a lot of content you want to put in there, you're going to have to make it a bigger box like this by using a row with bigger columns in it. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. I'm going to add a new row, and I'm going to give it 3 columns. Divi comes as standard with most of these light grey ones. The only one that you don't get with it is the Divi Image Hover, which you get when you install the plugin. So I'm going to insert one of those right there. First thing it asks us to do is choose a hover effect. I prefer to actually choose the content, to choose the image first and then the hover effect. So I'm going to add an image. Doesn't matter too much for me which one. Let's use that one. And if you're doing several in a row like this, it's a good idea to have the images all the same size. So I've chosen that image, and by default it puts the classic just hover effect in there. Now let's go back up to our hover effect and choose the one we want. I'm covering the classic today. There's 3 different versions. There's the default, as you saw there, but they've also got classic, modern and advanced, which all do different things. So I'm going to select the classic, and fade in up is absolutely fine. As you can see, that is now fading in up from the bottom, and there's all kind of different ones you can choose from here, but for this demo we'll just use that fade in up, which is fine. Next thing we want to do is put in the content. Now, all images should have alt text. A lot of people use that alt text for SEO purposes and put in keywords and what have you, but really the alt text should describe what's in the actual picture. Image opacity, that's the sort of see-throughness of it. I want mine fully visible, so I'm going to leave it at 1. If you pull it down, it just becomes opaque or see-through. Now for the title, you get the option to put in 3 words that you can decorate differently. So put that in the first one there. And as you can see, it's put that in for us there. Now if we go on down, obviously we need to put in a bit of content. What do you want under here? And you can have images. It's like any other WordPress box. You can have images, text, and there's buttons you can put in there. So let's grab a little bit of lorem ipsum, and I'll put that in there. And as you can see, it's put in that text for us just underneath the heading. So let's move on down. We'll give it a button. Just click here, or whatever you want to say, and put in the URL of where you want the button to go. Until you put in a URL, the button will not appear. I'm just going to put a hashtag in. That'll work because I haven't really got anywhere for this to go. There we go. Fantastic. And that's the wrong sort of here. There we go. Great. And you can choose, if you're linking to an internal page on your site, obviously you want it in the same window. If you're linking to an external site, different website, I should open it in a new tab. Okay, the image overlay, at the moment the default puts in this red sort of overlay. So you can go in there, choose something that's going to work with your background. You can either have it as a solid, choose a solid color, or choose something from the palette, whatever you want to do there. Now I quite like being able to see a bit of the image through this at the same time, but you want to make sure that your text is perfectly readable too. So to do that, just click on the color itself, and you've got two sliders here. The one on the right is the opacity or see-throughness, so you can pull this down a bit until you can see enough of the image that you want. But like I say, you want to make sure that your text is legible, so you don't want to take it down too far, unless you happen to have an image that the text works perfectly over. Something like that works fine for me. Great. So the swap effect is if you want to switch to actual images, but we're not doing that today, so I'm going to leave that as is. Don't need to put a background or a link in. If you want the whole module to link to somewhere, that's where you'd put a link in right there. We don't need that today. So I'm going to move on to the design tab now. First thing that I actually want to do is put more space between the header and the actual content itself there. And to do that, we just need to increase the line space of the header itself, which will bring the whole thing down, but give it more space around it too. So if we go into our title here, I'm going to go down a little bit, and I'm going to increase the line height. Just put in whatever works for you. As you can see, we've got more space there. Now I think I want to bold that up. I might make those slightly different colors, or at least the middle one a different color. So I'm going to make my text bold, capitalized, uppercase, and I'm going to make it sort of semi-bold. There we go. Now if we roll on down, you've got a prefix, infix and suffix. Prefix is the first word, infix is the second word, and suffix is the last word. I'm just going to change the color of the infix right here. So I'm going to go into the infix, and I don't want a background color. You can put a background color if you need to. Text color, I'm going to find a nice light blue, perhaps something like that. And as you can see, it's changed the color of that middle word there, the infix. Fantastic. Great. So let's move on down. I want to make my content text a little bit bigger. So here's our content right here. Don't need a background color. If it's not standing out very well, you can put a background color behind it. I'll just put a black in there and bring the opacity down a little bit. And as you can see, that's now highlighting all of our content. So if you're having a problem with seeing it, or you want to make it stand out even more, you can put a background in there, but I don't particularly need that one for this today. So I'm going to click that to off. And my content font's fine, regular style. I don't want to capitalize it. I do want to make it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to say put 15 pics in there. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's about right. That'll work fine actually. You can slide it up, or you can use these arrows to fine tune it. 16. I think 14 might be a little bit too small. Well, that's okay. I'm going to leave it at 14. And of course you can give it a different color if you want to. If you want to justify it, you can left, middle, right, or justify it. Justify is a nice little effect to have in these boxes because it kind of fills it out. But I'm happy with mine being in the middle there. Okay, let's go down a little bit more. I don't want to change the line height or anything like that of our text. Image, you can round the corners on it if you wish. But again, for me, I prefer to just have it simple. Now, the corners, if you can do different shapes on each corner if you want to. If you've got this chain link, once you put in one here, it'll do the other 3 for you. I don't think I want to add a border. Can do if you want to. Now the button. Here we can put a custom style on our button. That button's actually not too bad, but I think I might like to make it the same color as that hover there. So if we go back up to our infix, which that was, go down to our color here, just right click on the color, and you can copy the infix title text color there. Now we can go back down to our button and apply that to our button. So I'm going to say use custom styles for button, yes. Text color, I want that to be white. Button background, this is where we want to paste our button background color. Paste title infix text color. There we go. And I want the border as well to be that same color. So we'll do the same thing, just right click here. Now our border is the same color, so it looks like one block, or you can just have no border by taking that down to 0 there. I don't want to make my button round or have a button radius on there, but I might change that text. Font's fine. I might just make that uppercase. There we go. And by default it shows a button icon when you hover on it. That's fine. I'm just going to leave that just as. You can choose your icon from all the elegant themes icons here and choose a particular color for it if you want. Now the only thing I want to do here is I want to put a little bit of more space between the content text there and this button. Now we can do that with our button margin. Don't do it with padding. If you do it with padding, it's going to make the button fatter. For instance, if I put another 20 on top with the padding, you can see it's made that button fatter on top there. So I don't need to do that. We need to do this with margin with a button. So let's say put 20 there. Let's see how that works. It'll put in the pixels for you. Well, a little bit more, about 40. Split the difference. There we go. That works fine for me. So I'm pretty happy with that. So let's save our changes. And that's it. That's our first little image to text on hover box created. That's a nice little effect right there. Now if you're doing a row of them like this, the easy way to do it is simply clone the one you've got. Dark tab for a module right here, 2 little squares, and it clones it. Doesn't matter which one you drag over because they're both the same. And you can just go into it, change the content. I'll just change the image, which is in the content here. And then of course you may want to change the effect or something like that. Go back into the effect and explore some of these effects here. At the moment I got fading up. You can have push right. Just take a look at some of these effects and you'll see what they do. That's a fade in, that's a push. And if we do the same again, we'll just clone this one. Drag one of them over. Go in there. We'll change the image. Of course you'll want to change the content too. But for demo purposes I'm just doing the image right here. Let's move this out of the way so we can see a bit better. And let's just change the hover effect. That's a push. We got a slide. That's sliding in from the bottom left there. Like I say, explore some of these. They've got some great effect. And this is in the classic section. And there's, like I say, there's default, classic, which we've been exploring today. And we'll do another video with the modern and the advanced. Save our changes. And exit the visual builder. And there we have it. That's how to create some image to text on hover boxes really easily with some great effects. In the past I've had to do this with custom CSS, which is not too bad, but this saves me so much time. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, please ring the bell, give it a thumbs up, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie with System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.